Yeah. Hey, 7:16. One of these days I'll learn to read a clock. It's 7:16 p.m. on the East Coast, which means it's 5:16 in Idaho time. So we apologize to everybody watching in Idaho for us being 16 minutes late with Tuesday Night Live. And it's my fault because
That's okay.
Jen and I got into a conversation behind in the green room that was not
Part of the
there were not
program.
enough censors watching right now to edit that conversation and make it clean for the broadcast. It's
We
history
didn't get
Tuesday.
kicked out. It's okay.
Right. It's history lesson Tuesday night. And Jen has a history lesson on what not to do in the history of Facebook if you still want to be here on Facebook. That is very interesting. So I'm going to do what I do best, turn it over to Jen and start sharing it. If you're watching, please share the broadcast. Please like the broadcast. We're live tonight on the Dave Glovin profile with a live chat, the Boogie with the Bull page with a live chat, and the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. So in other words, we're live on the Boogie with the Bull network.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for watching today. I wanted to talk about what happened in the War of 1812. Now, we already had our successful win in the Revolutionary War of 1776 against the British, and they came back because they needed money. Well, that's where all of the colonists came from, was Britain. And they came over on the Mayflower in various boats and they reestablished colonies. And that's why we call them the colonists. And it's not like they were wealthy people yet, but they're the founding fathers of America. And so they did write the Declaration of Independence. They wrote the Bill of Rights. They started the Constitution. And that's fantastic. But it's not like we were here long enough to build wealth. However, Britain needed money. So, what is the best way that a government can get money, whether it's from their people or not, is by taxing them. And I thought we were clear enough, for the Revolutionary War when they had the Boston Tea Party, that you're taxing us too much. But no, they came back again to get more money. So I was looking like, what in the world did these colonists do that Britain thought they could make more money on them? So I went through my notes, I went through history books and Google, and I found out that the colonists were reestablishing themselves as their previous jobs, which some were physicians, some were lawyers, and they pretty much all were farmers. But there were some really interesting ones. It says the 9 weirdest jobs that the forefathers did. And I thought, whatever you're doing that's weird, I bet we have you beat. But no, history just repeats itself. There's nothing new under the sun. But these are what they thought was so weird. Okay. Alexander Hamilton, he was a shipping prodigy at 12 years old. He took over his dad's shipping business and he was just packing these ships of cargo. He was making so much money. He's only 12 years old and he was a prodigy. So I thought, well, okay, I can see why you're taxing him. I'm still not for taxing the rich. We all should be taxed. A flat tax, we already are. I mean, if your state is 6%, everyone pays 6%. It is what it is. So I don't like this class warfare that the guy in the White House is doing right now about taxing the rich. No, we all are taxed. No one's better than anyone else. We all make the same amount. No, we don't make the same amount. We all get taxed the same amount and we pay it. That's it. But this is ridiculous what Britain is doing. Okay, this is back in 1812 now. Thomas Jefferson, he was a hemp farmer. Well, at the time, that was wild. And now, pretty much as usual, people do that. I mean, hold on a second. Excuse me. So sorry. Anyhow, he was a hemp farmer. I guess it must be really good quality of paper. I mean, they make money out of it. I don't know if he was doing marijuana farming or what he was doing, but he found hemp to be a profitable crop as well as tobacco. And then there's Benjamin Franklin, and he was rebellious printer. I was like, oh my gosh, how do you become a rebellious printer? But he did those Doolittle letters. Do you remember that? I heard it in National Treasure. He would print out these Doolittle letters, and they were by this like non-existent person, someone he made up, and it was like the Gossip Girl, but he's not a girl. He's Benjamin Franklin, but he was doing political gossip through these printed documents he would pass out. And then the next guy we have is James Monroe. Now he is the fifth in line. Was he? See, Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe. Okay, so this Monroe, he was like what, fourth in line for presidency, and he was president during the War of 1812, where we're fighting the British again, and they set the White House on fire. And this is a story where Dolly Madison, his wife, ran back into the White House to save the portrait of George Washington. And so that was fascinating. But this guy is known as being a multitasker. He was not just the president, but he was also, I think he still had, I don't know how they did this, but he still had his spot in Senate, as well as he was a farmer and he's a father. So he was busy. They call him the multitasker. And then there's George Washington, who's a general and a politician at the same time. Actually, I didn't like this information that I got on Google. It says he was a failed general. And I'm like, how did he fail? He kind of established a country, the United States of America. It looks pretty good. And he won the Revolutionary War. But in Google, he's a failed general. So whatever, if that's what they want to call it. The next guy is John Hancock, and this one cracks me up. I'm thinking, oh, I bet he's a writer, because John Hancock is the one who like did this really swoopy signature on the Declaration of Independence. He wrote his name the biggest. But anyhow, he was a smuggler. He would make these. He wouldn't distill it himself. He would get these big 50-gallon barrels of whiskey, and he would smuggle them on ships to other countries to make more money. And I
So
thought,
a bootlegger like the Kennedys.
if that's how he made money, yes, it is. Okay. So I thought, oh my gosh, they were doing that back then. And then there's John Dickinson, which we don't hear much about him at all. He was in Congress. He became a songwriter. I don't know what songs he wrote, but he became a songwriter. And then there's John Jay, who was a spy. He was also a writer of the Federalist Papers. And he was a spy during the Revolutionary War as well as after. So that's how he made money. And I think we still have these issues going on in Washington today, but it's like really taboo. For John Jay, we don't talk about that till now. Okay, and then the next one is Thomas Paine, who was a French revolutionary writer. And he was another one who was kind of giving spy notes to France, as well as being a patriot here in America. So these are how they were making money even after it's after Revolutionary War. Britain's coming back for money, and they know that these guys are still productive, so they're trying to cash in. Anyhow, he wrote all the letters on common sense. This was back in the early 1800s, so it was just interesting. I wanted to see what are the weird jobs that the forefathers had. Besides anything we have today, there was nothing that weird. So I thought, okay, it is what it is. That's life.
So John Hancock didn't start an insurance company that's lasted a couple of 100 years.
No, I think someone just used his name. Borderline plagiarism. I don't know. Right, so then I looked up what are the
No,
five.
we don't have politicians who do plagiarism in this country.
Yeah, about that. Let it go. Everyone else does. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the 5 most lucrative jobs. So I'm getting very frustrated seeing these protesters at these Ivy League colleges. You're so lucky to get there, to get this education, but you're going to fight about something that's like what, 6,000 miles away? It's not your problem. And if you don't like the country, you can leave. The door is open. Seriously, I'm not proud of that either, but it is open. People are just flying in. You can go out too if you don't like it, but they do. You know what they like? Your tax money. We're paying for them to live here illegally. But that's neither here nor there. So I wanted to focus more on ways that people could get a good education and a lucrative job without going to an Ivy League college. So I have 5 jobs that you can get trained for at a trade school. And these are an electrician, a plumber, HVAC technician, a welder, and a commercial truck driver. Those are all jobs that AI cannot do. And
Well,
I thought,
there are trucks that drive them. There are tractor trailers now that drive themselves.
okay, whatever I said, forget that.
No, I'm just
No, you're right.
and
That
they
is,
did that. This one company, I think, at last count, had like 100 tractors, and they did it for that exact reason. They don't want to have to pay.
oh,
They don't want to have to pay truckers. They just the things drive themselves. It's pretty interesting. I followed one on the highway for about 20 miles. I was one car length behind it. I was on the side of both sides of it for a little bit. I was 3 car lengths in front of it once, and I mean it had signs all over it that made it clear that it was an autonomous truck, and I just wanted to see it.
wow.
Like any other normal truck driver, when it felt the need to make a lane change, it put its blinker on and it made a lane change. If it needed to slow down, it hit its brake or work the brakes accordingly, and it stopped. But
That's amazing.
it not having a driver in it was kind of scary. But you don't need 2 or 3 drivers in it to cover a 24-hour period anymore. You just have a computer or network of computers watching all the cameras 24 hours a day, and hopefully a human watching that. But is it scary? Should it not be happening? I don't really know what to tell you. It scares me to think that if trucks are driving themselves on the road now, that soon Lincoln Town cars and stretch limousines will be doing the same thing.
Oh. Well, then who's going to get out and open the door for the people to get
The
out
door will
and get
automatically
in?
open. The door will automatically open.
So
But
they don't
but
need us
but
anymore at all.
no longer will you have to deal with an accident on involving a limousine where a passenger in the back seat all of a sudden opens the door and gets sucked out while the car is doing 65 miles an hour on the highway because you can't break the lock, you can't open the door.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
That's amazing. Okay,
which
well
is not a good thing either. But anyway,
no, I wanted to ask you one question about that. Just for kicks, because I would have. Did you go next to the vehicle to look in the passenger side window to see if there really was nobody driving
I was
it?
on the left side of it, and it was obvious that there was no one driving, or at least no one sitting behind the steering wheel driving.
Wow.
Whether or not there was a human in it, I don't know.
That's amazing.
In some cases, having a human in it was a plus and a minus, or is a plus or a minus. One of the first Uber accidents, when Uber was testing self-driving cars, was an unavoidable accident, unfortunately. Some kids off the side of the road were playing ball, and their ball rolled out from between two cars, and the what do you call it? The computer driving the Uber vehicle saw the ball, but it stopped.
Oh.
It came between two parked cars and stopped. It didn't see any children, so it proceeded straight. Unfortunately, two children ran out, picked up the ball, took like 3 steps into the roadway. We don't need to discuss what happened. But
that's sad.
Could it have been avoidable? Possibly. Was it avoidable? No, because the Uber driver that was supposed to be driving, sitting in the car, ready to take over in case an emergency situation happened, was asleep. There's a camera looking up from the floor, staring at the driver, that shows the driver was asleep the entire time.
Oh my. Okay, well, on with our story. The next five lucrative positions that I found were these are from community colleges. Okay, the first one is nursing. The next one is radiological technology. And I thought that was neat. Those are the people that read your x-rays and MRIs and all that stuff. And it can be done by, I mean, you can do this, it pays good, but that cannot be done by an AI. I would not want to talk to AI, but it kind of is. Because when you get a printout on my chart to see what it said.
It probably can be, because even on TV, we were watching one of the what I call them the Wednesday nights on NBC, where this guy who got, I guess he had a heart attack or something, and he, very wealthy computer guy, went in and he ultimately bought the hospital, but he was trying to bring out an automated surgery assistant. The humans were still doing the surgery, but the computer was watching it and telling him or her what to do. So that technology could probably come into, can an AI do it? Can an AI read your
results?
Your results and interpret them? Probably, but I would still think that they would want a human to at least look at it and sign off on it.
Wow. This next one reminded me so much of that swimming competition with Riley Gaines when she got out of the pool. She knows she's the best women's swimmer. She holds the record. She's trying to get into the Olympics. And who gets out of the pool, next to her, or who got out before her, was this beast. It was Leah Thompson. Only Leah was really a man who failed in his category. So he started taking female hormones and said, I'm a trans, so he can, regardless of the fact that his body's been producing testosterone for 20 years, whatever.
And regardless of the fact that Title IX, the NCAA Title IX, was still in effect at the time. And it clearly said that a biological male cannot take part in sports that are biologically female.
Oh my God.
Meaning that the biological male cannot compete against a biological female, which is the basis of that
Title IX. Anyhow, what really got my attention with this is she said, well, I guess now that she lost her title, I hope they redid that somehow. But she said back, last year, she goes, now that I lost my title, I guess I have to go back to my studies as a dental hygienist.
Right.
And I thought, that is not a bad thing, unless you really wanted to keep on swimming, which she can still. Gosh, I hope they can recant that decision. But a dental hygienist at a community college, this is where you learn how to do this. They get paid. It says it starts at $76,000 a year. This is a 2-year program, and you leave from there and you get making $76,000 a year. And I'm like, wow, she must be
But
expecting to get paid a lot more. Well, if she goes to
well,
the Olympics,
she
go
goes
ahead,
to the
Dave.
Olympics and she gets a bunch of endorsements, like you were going to say, and she goes into other global swimming competitions and or other sports. I mean, the odds are that somebody's going to pick her up as a sportscaster for their Olympic swimming competition, and she stands a
Right.
chance to have made a lot more. But it's like I said, that the whole Leah Thompson thing bothers me because the NCAA created this. The
Mm-hmm.
NCAA cried foul over it, didn't do anything about it, decided it was okay, got President Biden to agree that it was okay.
You could
And,
get to agree to anything.
well,
There's
no, I know. But I mean, they set this
right.
all up. They understood it was going to come back and bite them in the behind. And they don't seem to care.
Right.
There are just as many real news agencies that are kind of like, we don't know where we are on this whole thing, as there are satire ones posting every day that the NCAA stripped Leah and gave everything back to uh,
Riley?
to Riley, as there are now saying that the U.S. Olympic Committee made a decision that Leah will not be allowed to compete as a female swimmer.
Good. Because that was just wrong.
But
Everyone knows it.
the question then becomes, if he has to register as a male based on the results that earned him the medals in the NCAA and the title, will he make the men's Olympic team, or will they want nothing to do with him? If I was the head coach of the swimmers competition, for male or female, I wouldn't want him competing at all. Period.
I know. Wow. Well, okay, the next community college profession, which says you can start at $55,000, which is not bad,
Yeah.
is being an IT professional. Now, what I do know about this is that once you're in there, and it's just like nursing, as far as you have to find your niche, and then you get into that niche, and the possibilities are endless. Like, I know in information technology, you can get into networking, and that's amazing. You're like moving satellites across the country, and you're controlling municipalities like
Flower
power
power.
stations. Yeah, you can control, like, you make sure that they are being serviced, and those are power stations all the way from Florida up to Boise, Idaho. And I know that because that's what Jesse does, and that's networking. Now I have a brother who's in the same field, and he does what's it? No, it's always information tech. Oh, it's storage.
Yep.
He goes on these business trips to Amsterdam, and he went to Amsterdam right after Barack Obama got rid of the school board, and he introduced the SBAC, which everyone says, oh, that stands for standardized testing. And
Yep.
I'm like, if it's an acronym, it's a really bad one, because ST is standardized testing. But theirs is called the SBAC, and no one really knows what that stands for. So I gave it an acronym, and it stands for me, some bureaucrats and czars, SBAC,
Yeah.
because that's truly what it is. Well, anyways, the children were taking these standardized tests, and they're being sent across to Europe. And I was so frustrated at first because I said, Jim, which is my brother's name. And I said, is that what you're setting up all those storage servers for in Amsterdam? And he's like, no, Jen,
No,
no, this is all business. I'm like, of course it
of
is,
course it is.
which we really don't know. But at the same time, it was such a weird coincidence.
Well, you could
So,
probably make a lot of money as the human IT, the programs,
right?
the AIs,
Yes.
and that those jobs are probably going to continue to grow for God knows how long.
Right.
Until, at least until the Democrats think they can run an AI candidate against Donald Trump and
Who
win.
knows? Who knows? Maybe we have one right now and we don't know. Because I'm thinking with everything going on with this guy neurologically, he's doing a phenomenal job, almost like a robot. I'm just saying. But even,
I
who
prefer to
else?
think of him as a trained monkey.
Oh my gosh, that's
Jill
funny.
probably says to him, you have to go down and you have to kiss these babies and smell their hair and shake hands with them and act like you're a kid. And if you do a good job, you're all going to have an ice cream party on the way out
With the Easter Bunny. Oh
with
my
the
gosh,
Easter Bunny
that's so funny. Wow. Yeah,
on
she's
April Fool's Day.
funny. Okay, the very last position that I have here that is lucrative if you were to go to a community college is learning respiratory therapy. And I thought that was fantastic that you could even learn these medical positions. You can learn in a 2-year college. You
Yeah.
don't have to go to the Ivy League colleges,
No,
6 years or more. You're not a doctor, you're a tech, and it's a wonderful job, and it starts out at $62,000 a year.
yeah.
That's a really nice living. I mean, while it is where I come from, I don't know, the economy is such a mess right now, but I still think 62,000 is good. Don't you think so, Randy? Oh no, his mic is on mute.
Randy, your mic isn't turned on. But we had
So my son
go ahead,
works for Comcast. He works from home, and his set pay, not commissions, nothing like that, is 80,000.
That's nice.
But there
Hey,
There-
Robin.
Hi, Robin.
there have always been. I mean, when I went 1980 to 1984. I moved back and forth between both community colleges in the district for classes that they had in my broadcasting major. But we had dental hygienist training, we had nurses training, we had a daycare center that was created for students who needed daycare while they were being students. That gave you, I think, an associate's degree in early childhood education if you wanted it. So yeah, in my time was back when Ronald Reagan was governor of California. There was no tuition to go to a community college. I don't know what the case. I don't know what the case is now, but
you have to pay for it.
This is going to sound gross. I'm going to try and watch what I say, but nurses are definitely not the underdog when it comes to emergency rooms
Right.
and the taking care of patients. And the reason why I say that is this. I was in the hospital. I had a reaction to medication. And this is a couple years ago. So they rushed me into the emergency room, and one of the side effects was explosive diarrhea. Okay. And I'm in the hospital, and I was telling the nurse, I said, please, I'm going to have an accident. I'm going to have an accident. I can't stop it. It's just going to come. There's nothing. She said? She said, Randy, that's okay. That's why we're here. We're here to help you. Don't you worry about it. Just let it go, and we'll clean you up. And I'm going to tell you what.
He let it go, and she cleaned it up.
I mean, there was absolutely no way I was holding that back. I forget what the medication was I was on, but yeah. So you know what? Nurses, they're the underdogs.
They are.
Wow.
Anyways, moving on.
Literally. Take that literally, folks. Moving on.
Moving on. I did come up with a new name for my group. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it, but for now, I do. I wanted the name because I wanted to start doing some stuff. And the name I came up with, excuse me, right now is "On the Roads to Discovering Our Ancestors," and the whole new broadcast is going to be about our ancestors and they're coming to the new world. I have got like 30 clients. 4 are active right now. Active as far as paying me, but I have on record that I can use information from the clients to talk about their ancestors. I mean, obviously, I'm not releasing any information that's going to affect living people because anything that is living is protected by law. Okay. Having said all that, I'm going to go back through and find across the board. It doesn't matter, who they were as far as ethnicity or what color uniform they wore. It's going to be about their ancestors, where they lived originally, and where how they got here. Right. I want them to know that this is what your ancestors did to get to the new world. I think it's important because they gave up everything, to leave where they lived, to come to this world, and they literally took their lives in their hands, of that of their family, their wives, their children. I mean, can you imagine if you had X number of children and some are daughters, right? To take them on board a ship where there was literally no real laws to prevent any type of, so we say,
Personal protection?
yeah, something like that. As far as protection of your family from the crew, from doing whatever they might have done, and it's happened. You know it's going to happen, but to do that, and for that, for the wife, the kids, they have no choice if they want to survive in that world. They have to go along with daddy.
Right.
But for the wife to agree to the husband's uprooting themselves and leaving everything behind, because like I mentioned in the broadcast this morning, people back in the day, when they died, it was a big deal. Okay, they had this really nice cemetery. They have the tombstone. They have the whole ceremonial thing, and it's like the Native Americans. Okay, they protected their sacred land against a white man walking onto it and not realizing there's their ancestors buried there. But to leave not only your living family members behind, but also your deceased family members who you'll never ever see again, that's huge. I mean, I'm trying, when I could, I wanted to move to a different state. And my wife said, no, I'm not going to leave my grandchildren behind. No. or like
Awesome.
I found a home close to where my kids live, and I said, what about this? So, too many trees. There's more than two trees. We're in the woods. I don't live in the woods.
She's so smart. No, she knows.
But yeah, but that's the way it is.
That's funny.
So I thought this would be great, a great show, and to show what they did to survive, because they left, they were bakers, they were grocers, they were clerks, they were farmers, they were whatever, to come to a new world where there's no Starbucks, there's no Trump Towers, there's no Motel 8. They had to build their home by their hands, cutting down trees and so forth, and starting completely over. And then
I wanted to say that's a really good point, and I was frustrated when I first started looking up this lesson, because I'm thinking, why in the world is the War of 1812 happening? Because they want more money. Why are they coming after the people that just left? They think they made that much money that fast. Oh, wow. It was frustrating. How much money can a group of vagabonds have? But please carry on, Randy. Pardon me.
Well, it's not just the land. I mean, the money. It's the land and what might be inside the land. Okay, because the royals, and this is why maybe most Americans don't understand that if you do your due diligence and deep dive into your family, we all have some tap of royalty in our family, because the initial ones were sirs and ladies and so forth, and dukes who were promised multiple thousands of acres of land if they would go there and create this whole new world, a new country that is allied to the king and to England. So those royals would go over there, bring with them their servants or their slaves or their, ones who are, tied to them because of money. And they went there and they planted, whatever, cotton, wheat, whatever commodity that, the English king wanted to use as a way of a monetary value to do trade, right? Mm-hmm. Not to mention the fact that they knew about the gold, they knew about the diamonds that were in the ground and so forth, and all the other minerals. So, these royals come over, they own their thousands upon thousands of acres of land, and they say to the poor guy, okay, look, if you farm this, this number of acres, I'll give you 5 acres, or I'll give you 10 acres, and that's how you have those land transfer certificates that I can find. And so they do this. Okay, I'll farm your land for 10 years, and at the end of 10 years, this land is mine. So that's where the value is. But because of the royals coming to the new world, and they had kids, and the kids had kids, that's where the royalty for us come into play, because we are the offshoots of those original royalty. It's phenomenal. It's just discovery of things that well, it's like Trump. I mean, Trump's from Ireland. His ancestors came from Ireland, and if you're lucky enough, I'll find out one branch of your family who is related to an individual person who now is related to like 200 famous people. Because they had sex, and they're all kind of related together, which means you're all very valuable people because you're all related to the King of England. It's a sexy world out there when we think about it. Oh, Dave, you're quiet. Come on, talk up.
I am, because I thought we were doing a history lesson, and we kind of went to an area that I wasn't ready for. Evidently, I didn't get the script. So
And there was no television. They didn't know what else
I
do.
figured that I was going to just wait until I'd be a moderator, as other famous Facebook broadcasters before me were moderators on their shows.
Right.
Until they had enough and took it back, and I hadn't had enough yet. So
and is it the whole thing about the religion? I mean, that's why they came to New World too, because they wanted freedom of religion. But look, and the sad thing, the damn sad thing is this: is that we're fighting for the same rights that our ancestors came here for to enjoy. So here we are, 200.
We become a country that decided that politics and religion would be free, but they would be separate entities from each other. And that, but it seems all we talk about these days lately is the church and Armageddon and one party against the other party. And then you got guys like Robert Kennedy in the middle, who I guess is so confused he doesn't know where he belongs. I watched something of his yesterday, and I came to the conclusion. I want to ask you, Randy, Jenn, you're welcome to comment on it too. What the hell happens if Robert Kennedy wins? What the hell happens if out of nowhere the independent candidate wins? And mainly because both Republicans and Democrats, along with the 20 to 50 million new illegal American voters, what happens if Robert Kennedy Jr. gets elected president of the United States?
You first, Jenn.
If he gets elected, it's a good stopper for Democrats forever. That would be a wonderful tripping stone for the Democrats who think they have this in the bag and they can just vote Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. So that would be wonderful if they're really that much against Trump, because basically Robert is the same as Trump, but with a few little differences. He actually, he's going independent, but he came from being a Democrat. That's his background. So he truly is for the blue collar worker, which Trump is too, because Trump's he's so unique. He's awesome. He's for, I don't know. I think it would be wonderful. I think it would be really great. And I'm telling you that I think that the stock market would pick up again if he were to get presidency. What do you think, Randy?
I agree with you. If he won, I don't think he stands a snowball in hell. But if he were to win, like you said, it would be like a stopgap measure for the Democrats against the Republicans, because he's a Democrat, but he's an independent, and he has a little bit of the good things of the value systems of both Republicans and Democrats. So he's kind of like an answer to both. But I don't think he's going to win, because the Democrats who support Biden don't want him in. They want their puppet in. I think it's going to be a stolen election. I think Biden's going to be reelected. And if the American citizens don't rise up and with guns in hands, we might as well just sit back and count the days to where we're a socialist nation, and we're going to live by those laws. And Biden's going to step down. Whoever the vice president is going to step up and take over, because Biden's brain is not going to sustain another 4 years past November.
I can't believe he made it this far, and I swear that white powder that they found in the White House that everyone knew they hid in the cubby off in the West Wing. I swear that is what keeps him going. Without that, I think he's gone. He's either sleeping or else he's on cocaine or else he's sleeping
Oh,
or on a good day, he's in the bathroom.
he's sleeping. I mean, what they've been saying for a long time now is that he goes up around 4 o'clock every night and takes a nap. The only thing I can figure is he's going to bed at 4 o'clock, and if they need him, they wake him up, or he may wake up at midnight, but he's not really doing anything. And then, he's like Obama said, he's the front man who was supposed to listen through the earpiece, and he's not listening. I don't see him getting elected president unless he gets rid of Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom decides to give up being governor of California and become president, and either has the authority to order the 25th Amendment and become the president, which I don't think he's going to want to do. Kamala Harris, from what we were told, was supposed to do it, but didn't do it. She was supposed to become the president. The Democrats don't want him to run, don't want him to become president because they don't believe he's going to live long enough to complete the term anyway. So, I don't see Biden winning. I mean, I guess I'm kind of putting my eggs in the basket that what I heard seems to be their plan is that they're going to march him in on August 19th to their convention in Ohio, elect him their nominee, and then around June 13th, the plan seems to be he's going to step down as the nominee for Democrat president in the November election. Kamala Harris becomes the president. No, excuse me. He continues and finishes the rest of his term, or some seem to say, no, he's going to do both. He's going to resign as the party's nominee for 2024 and then stay on and finish the term and leave that way. What I hear from key Democrats is they don't believe that Kamala Harris deserves any taste of being president. Plus, it also takes away the goal of hers to become the first woman president, because even if she does, it's for what, a couple of weeks, a couple of months. And she's not going to run. They're not going to run her for re-election anyway. So, I don't really know. I wanted to go back on Robert Kennedy Jr. For a time, I thought, even though he's an independent, I could have saw Trump grabbing him as his running mate, because I think the two think pretty similar on a lot of issues. It's just party affiliation they don't agree with. But I seem to be the only one who thought that maybe he could have become Trump's vice president, Trump's VP, although it's kind of a silly idea. It's also a silly idea because your VP nominee has to be from the same party that you are, so that when you are no longer president and they take over, the same party still controls the White House.
Well, I like the Indian guy for Vivek. I think his name is Vivek. For Trump's VP pick. I think he'd be cool.
I saw it for a while, but I don't see it. But we haven't heard anything from him in a very, very, very long time. And if, in fact, he is Trump's going to be Trump's running mate, I'm sure the Don would have said to him, stay away from all of this. Don't make statements anywhere. Don't just stand back and wait for me to announce you as my VP and then enjoy the ride. But I think what Trump is more concerned with is that his vice president has to be someone who in 2028, after getting 4 years of training to be president in the Trump administration, is ready to carry on and take over. I don't know if Vivek is going to be that person. I don't know who will be. I mean, for a time, I'm guilty. I thought that Ron DeSantis was going to become the Republican nominee and become the next president, and that's not going to happen. I thought he was going to become Trump's VP. That's not going to happen. So I don't really know where we are. Robin, I am very sad to inform you that Arnold Schwarzenegger is no longer the governor of the great state of California. For those who wonder what I'm referring to, there's the comment from Robin on the screen. But Robin is in Iowa, so she may not get much news from California in Iowa these days. But
so she thought,
I'm teasing on you, Robin. I still think you're a great person. I'm glad you watched the broadcast. And she definitely recommends the best coffee company on Facebook and confirms that or assures everybody she's not a part of it. She does not get commissions for referring them, but and they are good coffee too. But on that note, let's continue on. Well, it's better. I thought that was better than move on.
Yeah, move on. Yeah, move on.
Yeah.
Trump's killing it in the court system. He's making fun of the lawyers, and they actually turned the table on him about the money being paid to what's her face, and she actually admitted to it about the money and about Trump's position, and I think the offense kept saying, wanted her to describe in detail the sexual, so we say, the sexual, oh God, what they did sexually to try and paint this nasty picture of Trump. And she just refused to do it. She was not going to fall into that, to just go in and describe everything they did.
Where are the Democrats coming from this? Because the Republicans didn't make impeached President Bill Clinton report the step-by-step of all the dances that he and Monica Lewinsky did.
Yeah, but
so to me that's that the Democrats are way off base in thinking that Trump or anyone in any of these cases has to report what happened to them, because like I said, Bill Clinton didn't have to report on it. We don't know if Barack Obama had any affairs, and to be honest with you, I don't really care. We don't know if George W. Bush had any, and I don't really care. And we know that Bill Clinton did, and to be honest with you, I don't really care, because I've said it before. We've taken the office of president from a long time ago and made it sort of function like a king, and kings in different countries around the world do things like this. So, the Kennedys wrote the playbook on how to be a president and have affairs with just about anybody, and even when they went public, not get nailed for them.
Okay. Yeah, but the Democrats are Democrats, and they are above the law. They can do whatever they want and not be held accountable for it. They want, and Trump, unfortunately, is, you know, uh, the poor guy. I mean, his son's about ready to go off to college, and he should be more concerned about helping his son choose the right college to go to and get him moved out, moved in, and all this other stuff. And he's being, the court, when they finally showed that he did not pay the money, that the lawyer paid the money, and that she admitted to it, and the lawyer, more or less came out and told the truth, and that Trump had nothing to do with the allegations of paying for the sex and to hide it. It should have ended that particular trial, but the damn judge wants to continue it for another 2 to 3 weeks.
Part of the problem in the first one, although they didn't rule, they didn't go after Trump, was that the non-disclosure agreement wasn't signed by Michael Cohen. The non-disclosure agreement was signed between Donald Trump, or it had Donald Trump on signature on it, and Stormy Daniels' signature on it. So one has to assume that Michael Cohen, his attorney, was not going to sign Trump's name on it, which obviously appears to not be the case. And Michael Cohen went to prison for it. So,
wow. I know. What was it with? Wasn't it Paula Jones that Bill Clinton?
Jones was one of Bill Clinton's. She sued him for rape. She sued him for rape, and I think Hillary paid her off.
Oh wow. But that hush money, no one talks about. Now it's so ridiculous how they're making everything Trump did so much worse than anything anyone else did, that it's almost obvious. If Biden really won an election by that many votes, he wouldn't have to arrest his biggest political opponent to keep him tied down.
Well,
litigation. This is getting so stupid and ridiculous.
I mean, that's why I really wish Biden and Trump, Biden would be forced to have a presidential debate at least once with Trump, because he's just going to fire so many questions at him all the time, which is a classic thing you don't do to a person with dementia, because I can tell you, when you fire something at me and you start giving me 17 different choices, by the time you get to choice number 2, I'm so confused I don't even want to deal with it anymore.
I just want ice cream. I know.
But the trick is that he'll fire a question and give Biden so many different agreeable answers that it doesn't matter. Whichever one Biden picks, he's going to just nail him again. I don't believe that we will be able to make sure that no one gets into the vote counting facilities until the county sheriffs in the counties where these are do their job and make sure that no one gets inside unless they belong inside. It's like, open the doors and let out everybody who's got off, let in the new people who've gotten on, lock the door. It's like my brother works at a Target, and they lock the doors at 10 o'clock. And even if you start after 10 o'clock, you have to be inside. You can hang out in the break room. They lock the door. So if you show up at 11 o'clock, but if you show up at 11 o'clock, you don't get in. They will not open the door and let you in. Wait. If they can open the door from the outside, if an emergency situation happens inside, they can open the door from the inside and let everybody out, but the computer will not open the door and let people who don't belong in there. It should be the same thing at the vote counting centers. The doors should be locked and monitored, and at specific times they open and let people out and bring people in, and then they lock again, and that's it. And there's the proper number of sheriff's deputies, sheriff employees inside and outside, making sure that that's what happens. And if guys show up with briefcases and suitcases and trash bags and say, these are ballots, wrong. Your ballot needs to be delivered. The ballots need to be delivered in the appropriate boxes that ballots are supposed to be.
And that's another thing about the ballots and boxes. They're still coming out with evidence about the additional votes that are brought in after the fact. And
didn't they have a report this year or near the end of last year that they are still finding ballots in all over Pennsylvania in places that are simply in trash bags or whatever they got dumped in and left at wherever they were being stored, probably in the glove box of the Corvette too.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I know that in Georgia, where that lady is trying to charge Trump, they're still finding boxes. In fact, he's actually joking about it now. Finding these damn boxes loaded with ballots. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's too late. To take back the 4 years that we lost. But damn it, I think Trump should be allowed 2 terms if he gets elected. What?
He wouldn't get 2 terms because he's already served 1 term as president. He's coming and taking his second term.
But I'm saying, he lost us the opportunity for the second one. He's allowed to get those 4 years plus 4 years just because of the way they screwed him over. But that's things don't work that way.
We would all hope that when it gets to the Supreme Court, that is how they would say it should be done. But then the only problem that you run into is that Trump is in the upper portion of his 70s. He'll be in his 80s at the end of this one. So there's no guarantee that cognitively he would be up to serving another 4 years. I mean, yeah, he did not get to serve the 4 years. He still got his presidential pension, which is equal to what he would have made if he was president, still maintained his Secret Service team and all of his other for life benefits that a president gets. He just didn't serve those 4 years. So if it was me, I'd go before the Supreme Court saying he needs not if it was proven that he won, not only does it be that he got his $450,000 a year for his 4-year presidential pension, he's due his $450,000 a year that he would have gotten as president, and history needs to be changed to show that he was in fact elected, if that's the case, the president of the United States, and Joe Biden needs to take the Democrats to the gates of hell where Satan will be waiting for them if that happens, because if and when that is publicly announced and the Supreme Court backs it up, it's going to be the end of the Democrat Party. Period. But go ahead, Randy.
No, I mean, I was kind of like staring at the screen here. Tomorrow I'm actually getting a new screen. I'm getting a new monitor. I'm getting a 27-inch monitor, so I'm going back to where I was, full force, with my my whole setup. But I actually was toying with the idea. I got this TV downstairs that has not being used as a 52-inch screen. Which I'm sure if I plugged in the tower into it, it'd work as a monitor. But can you imagine a 52-inch monitor on your desk?
David Novar and I had a conversation the other day. He called me and we talked for a long time about a bunch of things. And he had said something that he was buying 2 new monitors. And I said, hypothetically, the wall in front of me that you can't see is big enough that it could probably fit a 60-inch or bigger flat screen. And I said, that would be one hell of a monitor. And he said, how close are you sitting to it? And I said, maybe 2.5 feet. He said, can you imagine the eye strain? Actually, it's probably closer to 3 feet, but can you imagine the eye strain of looking up like this all the time? Plus, where would you mount the camera?
No kidding. That's crazy.
But let's see, we are at 8:21. That's 9 minutes before we say goodnight tonight. And Randy goes home and goes to bed and gets ready for Boogie with the Bull Wednesday morning caffeine, 10 a.m. Eastern on the Facebook network. On the Boogie with the Bull network, which tomorrow will be the same as it is today. My profile, the Boogie with the Bull page, and the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. And Jenn, if you're awake at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're more than welcome to join us. If not, please save it and be awake on Friday and join us for Red Friday Caffeine.
Of course.
Red Friday Morning Caffeine, which will have, I hope Jenn, Randy Rhodes, Bonnie Johnson, without feedback noise, and anyone else who thinks they should be on a broadcast.
Right, yourself. That would be fun.
Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here. I'll be here. As long as I'm allowed to interrupt and say things every now and then.
Of course.
You're the host. We don't have a choice.
No. I mean, we all talk about that broadcaster that we won't name, a broadcast that we won't name. There were many broadcasts where he just basically sat there and moderated. Me, on the other hand,
You're very active.
I'm very active.
You're a very active host.
I like to keep us moving on.
Right.
All right, so let's see.
With the explosive results.
I flipped my two-headed Trump coin, and Jenn, you can call it heads or heads.
Hey, wait! Before you go, does anyone know what Trump's son's IQ is, and where
it is very high.
I know it's high,
and it's higher than Donald's is, and I was going to say it's even higher in height that Barron towers over his father.
Well, do we know where? Because I know in my high school they rated the students 1 to 350. Okay.
Yep.
The first place is super intelligent, going off to college, doing all kinds of wonderful things. Do we know where Barron fell in as far as with the rest of the students?
I thought, but don't quote me, I read right, that it is somewhere between 165 and 170, and for some strange reason, 170 keeps jumping out at me, and which is, I guess, a high IQ. I don't know what mine is. It's something it's probably right around where my credit score is. Well, actually, no. Yeah, it's probably right around where my credit score is.
The sad thing is, I mean, I'm happy with him as far as the level of intelligence, but when you're a child growing up in a family like that, okay, you're surrounded by security. Everything is given to you as far as nice clothes and beautiful homes to live in. You want for nothing, and you have a mother who is also very intelligent and speaks different languages. But between the parents, that being the last child, he didn't have much of a. I'm going to say he probably didn't have much of a childhood as far as playing with toys or playing in the dirt. That kind of experience. I think, I hate to say it, I think he was pushed to be an intellect, and he didn't have a choice on
I mean, I'm sure he went to school with other kids in similar family statuses that he was in. But she wanted him to grow up to be a smart kid, and he is. He speaks 7 languages fluently. I don't know what else. It's always amazed me that the look on his face is like he's not paying attention
Right.
and not aware
Yeah.
of what is going on around him. And my experience with people like that are they're just so damn smart. They've had the conversation that you're having with them already. They're just waiting for their chance to blow you away with the answer.
Because he walks around like, you know, and there's a period of time where people are making fun of him.
That's what they were. Yeah, that's what they were doing. They were making fun of him because of that. He, you know, he kind of got treated the same way that Jimmy Carter did when he was president. He didn't want any time, and I think made it official that, you know, she was not to be covered. She was not to be interviewed. You know, don't come up to her and ask her questions. She's my daughter, and it's not her fault that I'm president. And she lives in the White House. But, you know, I don't know.
Okay, so before we leave, let's take a poll. Who wins the November election?
I'll say Trump.
Trump, because it's not going to be Biden running as the Democrat candidate. And if it is, and we hopefully take back the Senate and we have a Republican House and a Republican Senate, it doesn't matter what he did or what he would do in his second term. He will be impeached and he will be forced to resign. He'll be forced to stand trial, and some kind of penalty will in fact happen. And it won't be as easy as subpoenaing Hunter and Hunter not showing up. Also, Randy, you mentioned Fannie Willis and Georgia. I read recently that she's in trouble with the Georgia state legislature because they've subpoenaed her and she's refusing to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's in some serious shit.
Yeah, and I don't understand where these people get this. You know, Hunter Biden, he's first son. He's not president of the United States. If the House sends you a subpoena and you don't go, or you get up and walk out, you're in contempt of the House.
You're in contempt. Oh
that carries over to other entities within the Department of Justice, issuing you some kind of penalty. Now I hear in the IRS case that evidently either before the end, I believe it's after the election, in the beginning of 2025, the IRS and Hunter Biden are going to sit down and get over whatever it is they need to work out and hope and maybe collect whatever taxes he owes or penalize him for Trumpanizing his tax return.
Who does Randy think is going to win?
Well, Randy, well, go ahead, Randy, you tell him. I don't have to speak for you.
I think it's going to be Biden. I think he's going to steal it. Or whoever they put in for the Democrat. And it's not going to be Robert Kennedy. It's not going to be Trump.
It's not going to be Robert Kennedy. It's not going to be other people that are running as an independent. I don't think we'll ever elect an independent. Ross Perot tried it, and he didn't get it.
Unfortunately, that's what I believe. I think it's going to be another stolen election. I mean, they're already talking about another run on the
Capitol?
No, another bacterial release of.
There's going to be supposedly something else is going to be released, and there's going to be another lockdown, or excuse me, there's going to be another pandemic.
Yeah, and I think Israel already has the damn vaccine ready, and they're saying, oh, it's just happened to be half a chance. We weren't planning on that. It just happened chance that we have this vaccine ready and willing to go when this new bacteria is released to the world, and we'll be ready to treat it.
But that's because you don't have pharmaceutical companies in Israel and other organizations in Israel producing the toxin that they're going to try to ingest in us.
What's the scariest thing is losing our sovereignty to the WHO. If they come in can take over our healthcare, that's terrible. Then we have nothing to say.
You know,
I would hope.
I also read that the vaccine that we all got a couple years ago, it has a death ratio that's going to kick in 5 years after the fact. So they're expecting that people start dropping dead of heart attacks 5 years after getting the vaccine.
There are a few reports that link mRNA technology as somehow creating cancer off the vaccines that we took, and that there are cases that evidently prove that it did. I just think this whole thing has gone on long enough, and Dr. Fauci, before he jumps on the back of a horse with a rope around his neck, and Hillary Clinton slaps the donkey, and that's the end of Dr. Fauci. I think Dr. Fauci needs to
We need some qualification on what you mean by slapped donkey. Okay. I mean, that could have all kinds of connotations.
No. What I clearly meant was that Dr. Fauci.
Clearly meant. Yeah,
that Dr.
Clearly,
Fauci
we want to slap the donkey.
That Dr. Fauci would be sitting on a donkey with the noose around his neck.
Okay.
In order to trigger the donkey.
Now it's all coming together.
Hillary Clinton would volunteer to come up
slap the donkey.
Slap the donkey.
Okay, now we got the picture. Okay, I was a little bit concerned about Hillary slapping any donkey's ass. Okay, I wasn't sure what you meant by that.
I'm sure she slapped Bill's more times than Bill will ever admit on a Boogie with the Bull.
I don't know.
I think it's time for an F-bomb.
I
think it's time for a few F-bombs.
Okay. It is time to end this show. It is going off the rails. It is time to call it an end of the night. Oh my God!
It is
crazy train. My guys.
The 10 points I gave you, Dave, earlier today, I just took away 5.
Okay. All right, Jen. Well, that's okay. I'm still 5 ahead from my last neurological exam then. But Jen,
oh my God.
Thursday night, whatever comes out of her mouth and out of the mouths of anybody else, if you're around. And then Friday morning at 10 a.m., whatever comes out of your mouth, because I might not say anything on Friday.
Yeah, we might have to put a gag order on you.
No, I told you. Nikki had the thing on the other broadcast. We have the Jenn thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Because way in the early
Bye.
Bye, Jen. Way in the early Boogie with the Bulls, when I wanted to talk and Jen was talking, I would go. And that meant Jen would interpret that as I wanted to say something.
Oh, that's funny.
But I would wait my turn. Anyway, Jen, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Always a
Let's
pleasure.
see. Let's see. Tomorrow morning, like I said, is Wednesday, 10 a.m.
Wednesday.
Morning caffeine with Randy Rhodes, and everything about the South on Facebook that you can only learn from Randy Rhodes, as well as our light-minded wit and other creativity that goes into a Boogie with the Bull broadcast. And Jane O'Malley, if you're not working tomorrow, you're more than welcome to watch and participate. If you are working tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., then join us Thursday night at 7 p.m. And we'll go from there. Also, I wanted to acknowledge that Alan McMillan. Wait a minute, I got to get this comment posted. Alan McMillan of Buddy's Boat Barn and Ambulance Conversions is watching Boogie with the Bull. If you have a boat and you have questions about it, whether or not you're anywhere near Colin McMillan, you can always message him and he'll He'll answer your boat question, and if he's close enough, maybe he'll even repair it. And if you want to buy an ambulance and convert it to something else, Callan has one that he's more than willing to sell to you. Whether or not he will do the conversion for you, that I do not know. But anyway. And if you need genealogy, Randy Rhodes, all roads lead somewhere. Genealogy services here on Facebook, and on the road that takes you somewhere. On the road that takes you somewhere every Sunday at 7 p.m. I can't tell you what the name of the broadcast will be or what it will be about, but every Sunday at 7 p.m. go to the Randy Rhodes Facebook profile, and you'll be on the road to somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. We'll be traveling somewhere, doing something stupid, I'm sure. But it's lots of fun. Looking at people's families.
Yeah.
So at least I can make fun of other people's families besides my own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that conversation that you heard in the green room before we went live, I wasn't knocking you. I was just knocking that one relative of yours. And it's not your fault that you're related to them.
Yep. Yes. Well, I gotta get going. I got a little bit more to do before I call it a night.
All right. My wife was telling me that I have to turn off, and I took my 8:30 my 8 o'clock meds on time, so it means in probably 20 minutes I'll be asleep anyway. Anyway, this is the part of the broadcast where I say you have been watching Boogie with the Bull Tuesday night live. Getting ahead of myself. Boogie with the Bull Tuesday night live, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company, which tonight was on the Boogie with the Bull network, my profile on Facebook, the Boogie with the Bull page, and the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. We are not going to link to Instagram. We can do it. A lot of other people do it. It's just a pain in the rear end process that they're not making easy for me to do, so we're just not going to do it. We'll one of these days get Rumble an email and finish up everything. And Rumble's really easy because all I have to do is copy 2 things and install it into StreamYard, and we'll be on Rumble. Tina Scott, always a pleasure to have you here. Jane O'Malley, always a pleasure to have you. Dave Glovin's only here because he hosts it. Let me see who else. Callan McMillan was here. Buddy's Boat Barn and Ambulance Conversions. Way up, Robin Brunson was here. Robin Brunson suggested if you are looking for the best coffee company on Facebook, whether you have to buy it and have it shipped to you or you're in a state that they are, it's Fat Cup Coffee Company here on Facebook. Go to the Fat Cup Coffee Company Facebook page, which will take you to their website. Take a look around and buy something. If, when you order, they ask how you were referred to them, just say Boogie with the Bull and leave it at that. And we'll go from there. Anybody else that I missed? Jake O'Malley, Robin, me, Karen Hackley, our buddy down in Texas, William Grant, and Danny Campbell, who both logged in at 18 minutes after 7 o'clock, which means that they are now tied for watching the most Boogie with the Bull broadcasts until tomorrow morning, and we see if one of them or both of them or neither of them logs on, then they're still tied, because Monday morning they both did watch. Anyway, I'm Dave Glovin, you're not. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. We'll slide down here and do it again. And if you see the broadcast somewhere, take it and share it on Facebook, anywhere you think it is appropriate to be shared. If you get contacted by an admin that says, please don't post it in their group, then please don't. That's the rules. I kind of slam it into a few groups every now and then, and if they let it stay and they keep posting it, then we do. And if they don't, then we don't. So we don't want to force it on anybody who doesn't want it in their groups. And now the final double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to